Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Ryan Fish. We've been taking our newscasts on the road this month, and this evening a special location on the southeast side. Pat is field anchoring tonight from Davis-Monthan Air Force Base, a unique look at a very important part of our community, Pat.
Yeah, it really is, Ryan. Davis-Monthan is a vital part of Tucson and our economy, of course. Now, nearly 100 years ago, Davis-Monthan was actually a municipal airport, the nation's largest. Here's an Absolutely Arizona history of how DM became a critical part of our national defense. After his historic 1927 solo flight across the Atlantic, Charles Lindbergh piloted his Spirit of St. Louis to Tucson in September of 27. He came to dedicate the new Davis-Monthan Municipal Airfield. But by 1940, with the Second World War on the horizon, Davis-Monthan was acquired by the military and renamed Davis-Monthan Army Airfield.
The town at that time was about 4 to 5 miles west of Davis-Monthan.
Larry Herndon is describing why they selected Davis-Monthan as a training base ahead of World War II. Herndon is the collections curator at Pima Air and Space Museum and is also a Davis-Monthan historian. He's in front of one of the first planes based at DM in 1940, the Douglas B-18 Bolo.
On the 8th of December, after the day after the attack on Pearl Harbor, the planes departed to the West Coast. They became sub-hunters and reconnaissance.
By 1942, Davis-Monthan had become a primary training base for the B-24 Liberator crews.
They kind of married up here and became a crew, and they were assigned an aircraft, and then they began to work to solidify their procedures.
Like a real team.
Yeah, yes, sir, exactly.
DM's mission changed in late 1944. It was out with the B-24 Liberator and in with the B-29 Superfortress as the focus turned to long-range bombers in the Pacific.
The air crews were in full training from January 45 to August, when the war abruptly ended with the dropping of the atomic bomb, and they literally woke up the next morning and they were unemployed.
The end of World War II wasn't the end of Davis-Monthan, though. It led to the creation of what we know today as AMARG, or the Boneyard. Some 600 B-29s were mothballed in the Tucson desert. Davis-Monthan then played a key role in the Cold War, serving as home to the 390th Strategic Missile Wing and its Titan II intercontinental missiles. DM was responsible for the crews for the 18 Titan II missile sites throughout the Tucson area. Davis-Monthan was also home to the U-2 Dragon Lady spy plane. The 100th Strategic Reconnaissance Wing is credited with photographing the Soviet missiles in Cuba that began the Cuban Missile Crisis.
That tells you just how technologically advanced that plane is. If they could get missiles on the ground in 1963.
The U-2 spy plane flew out of DM from 1963 until 1974. Also during that time frame, Davis-Monthan trained every pilot who flew the F-4 Phantom II, a Korean War fighter jet. By the 1970s, the F-4 was phased out at DM, giving way to the A-10 Thunderbolt II. The A-10 was uniquely designed around its GA-8 30mm gun to provide close air support to troops on the ground.
A-10 played a pivotal role in the global war on terror. A lot of soldiers are home today.
Yeah, because of that. Yeah, and an emotional time for those who understand the importance of the A-10. And Craig Smith, our Southeast Side reporter, joins us now. Craig, we both heard stories about soldiers who thank the A-10 for saving their lives on the battlefield. It's an emotional time for many.